Hey, welcome to Evil's Comics. I am Evil Mike, and I finally got a review for you. I'm finally caught up with the majority of my reading. I got like 30 left to go, which I can knock out in a day. I'm gonna do so, but I do finally have a review for you. I'm gonna change up the reviews a little bit going forward. I can't review everything I read. I read too much. So I'm just gonna review a couple of the comics that I want to, and then maybe some books that I feel like maybe you need to pick up something like that, but not really due to spec or anything like that. Due to art and story and stuff like that. And the review I have today is exactly one of those comics. This is DC's Monkey King, #1. It is a limited series. It is written by Luen Yang, Bernard Chang on the art, and then Sebastian Cheng on colors, and Janice Cheng on letters. I'm sorry if I butchered any of those names. I'm pretty sure I did. Evil Mike is really bad with names, as you'll see going forward. Um, this is not his first appearance. This is his first solo, his first appearance, or cameo, if you will, was in the DC's Festival of Heroes, the Asian Superhero Celebration #1, and this is the design variant that I was graciously gifted by Dane Comics, and I think it was my very first AOK. He gave it to me all the way back then, knowing I was a DC fan, and I'm big on the Asian culture as it is, so I've always loved the tale of Monkey Prince ever since I was a little kid. Ever since I've ever heard that tale, I think it was one of my favorite fairy tales that I ever heard. Um, and it's kind of crazy that he's finally getting made, into like a mainstream thing, especially with DC Comics. So I was kind of like on board from the get-go. Um, so without further ado, let's get into it. The comic is really quick, it's action-packed, the art is fantastic, the story is pretty straightforward. It is about a guy named Marcus, and his mom and dad. I want to say he's around the age like, 12 to 15, he's in high school, something like that. But they start the story off with, before I get too far, I will show you all some of the art. I am reading this comic digitally, the first one. I do plan to buy this comic after reading it. I fell in love with it. I thought it was amazing, so I'm not going to pass it up. I will go on the hunt to find the first issue. Um, so at the end of the review, I will show some of the art. Anyways, we catch up with Marcus, and his family in the beginning does live in Gotham, and they kind of show you that for some reason Batman is involved in his family's life. They show a scene where like Batman breaks into the house and is confronting his parents or something like that, and just as quick as he bursts through, he leaves, and it kind of puts this like trauma, you know, moment with our main character, and his name is Marcus. I'm not going to give you his last name, I can't remember it, but I do know his first name is Marcus. um, but after that night, it ended up sticking with him so bad. His parents end up leaving. Like I think they go to Bloodhaven, they go to Star, they go to like a whole bunch of other cities where they move around. But it doesn't matter. Everywhere that Marcus goes after that, Batman kind of leaves a stain on his memory where he's seeing like black curtains, and he's thinking he's seeing Batman, he's seeing bats and all kind of stuff. So it leaves like this traumatic, you know, spot in his life or whatever. And it goes forward, and eventually the book does like where his family does move back to Gotham. They don't really explain why. It has to do with his parents, of course. But they don't get too far into it, not yet. Um, so we catch up with Marcus, like kind of, you know, adjusting to going to Gotham High, I think it is, or Gotham Academy. I'm not sure. I know both exist in Gotham, but um, I don't know if they verified whether he's going to regular high or if he's going to academy right now. But I do know that, just like every other kid, he gets picked on because he's the new kid. We kind of meet our bully in the beginning of the book. His name is the Riz, R-I-Z, I think. And there is a moment where, like, they're supposed to be in, like PE or something like that, and they're doing, like, swim class or something like that. And in bully fashion, they end up they push Marcus into the pool or whatever. And it's kind of the first moment we see that water plays a different part in the story, because the second he jumps into the pool, he starts hearing something that tells him he needs to go through the veil. And like, the next moments he wakes up in the nurse's office. He doesn't remember how he got there. He just remembers being pushed into the pool. Um, Then they kind of jump over and they catch up with Marcus's parents, and we see that they're like that they're scientists on some level, but they're building something, and they're building it for the Penguin. So it kind of goes back to why Batman was after his parents. So kind of assuming that they might be supervillains, but maybe not supervillains, but work for supervillains kind of thing, because they are working on some tech for the Penguin, and he's trying to like he has some Voss, and it's some golden Voss, and it's you know, from the like Cheng dynasty or something like that, and it's got some prophecy linked to the Voss, and it's got some demon inside it. So they've got some, you know, instrument that's trying to unlock the demon from within the vase or whatever. They do show that they do release something, and then the scene kind of, you know, jumps forward and gets back to Marcus. Marcus does wake up at the nurse, and then he kind of, you know, he's heading home. It's like near the end of the day, and he gets called in by the janitor. And again, don't quote me on the name. I think the janitor's name is Mr. Zhu, and I think it's spelled like Z-H-U. So I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but that's what I'm going to go for now. But he ends up meeting Mr. Zhu, it's a janitor, and while he ends up meeting Mr. Zhu, Mr. Zhu kind of leads on that he knows a little bit more about Marcus than he should, like he's been watching him a little bit more than a regular janitor should be, that kind of thing, but not in a creepy way, more like in a protective kind of way. During the meeting, Mr. Zhu does end up drinking a soda, and he kind of makes a like comment about it giving him energy or something like that, and he does and toss it in the trash, and he ends up burping near Marcus. Marcus makes like a comment about the smell, but it's really it's like a puff of cloud that comes off of the burp, and for some reason it doesn't like disappear like a regular, you know, cloud of smoke would. It kind of sticks around, and for the rest of the book it kind of is following Marcus around. Like at first he thinks it's just a smell. They show him like going home, and he kind of like tries to, and he does get it to go away. He wakes up the next day, and sure enough, now it's like 3 clouds, and it's following him. And it ends up like fast forwarding through different parts of his day, showing him at the locker, and there's like these little floating gases that are near him or whatever, or little clouds. But eventually he ends up going to one of the classes. And during the class, this girl is like, "What is that?" And he catches him off guard. And he turns around, and she's pointing at kind of his butt area. And she's like, "What is that, Marcus?" And like, he kind of looks down, and as he looks down, he sees a monkey tail that's coming out of his pants. And he freaks out, runs out of the class, and like, for some reason in the back of his mind, there's something that keeps telling him to go through the veil, that he has to make it to the water, and he has to like jump through the veil or something like that. So like in kind of like a primal state, not really thinking, he does make it back to that pool in the gymnasium, and he just, he jumps into the pool, and as he does so, automatically he gets transported to this other realm or something. And instantly, as he's in like a cave that's in a waterfall, and as he exits the cave in the waterfall, he is greeted by a ton of monkeys, and they all start screaming. They're like, "Oh, he's here, praise the Lord, and he's here." And quickly greeted by Mr. Zhao, and then his father, which is the Monkey King. And he is quickly shown that he is the Monkey Prince, that he needed to jump through the water to make the transition to what he really is. And all of a sudden, as soon as he gets that, like, bam, he is knocked back through the pool, through the portal, and as he comes through, now he is in his true form. He is the Monkey Prince. As soon as he does, there's like this moment where like he, kind of checking himself out and stuff like that, but we run into the bully, the Riz. This time, the Riz like trying to bully him, trying to figure out what's going on with Marcus, but at the same time, Marcus being now the Monkey Prince, he jumps into action, and he doesn't like, he beats Riz, not badly, but enough where he mocks him, and maybe gets a hit in or two or something like that, because it's not just Riz. Bullies are never alone. It's usually like a little tag-along group or whatever. The Monkey Prince does end up taking out all of those it's like, I want to say it's four bullies. As this is going down, we also find out that Damian Wayne is also going to the same school. At the same time, Damian witnesses the Monkey King's appearance, and he's beating on the bullies, and he calls his dad, Batman. You know, in a matter of minutes, by the time the fight is open, Robin is already in, you know, Damian's already in his Robin outfit, and now Batman has shown up, you know, getting the alert from Damian that something is going on at the high school. You know, Batman quickly is like, hey, you need to drop that, because the Monkey Prince does have a staff. And it's not really a staff, it was one of the kids' like hockey sticks or something like that, but he's using it like a staff. But like, Batman tells him, hey, you need to drop the weapon. You know, Monkey Prince kind of looks over and sees it's Batman and freaks out, because he already has that traumatic thing with Batman. And you know, he kind of like, you know, he kind of looks and says Batman, and kind of like freaks out for a second. And as soon as he does, like, Batman doesn't take the moment. He ends up throwing a batarang that's supposed to knock the staff out of, you know, Marcus's hand or whatever. And for some reason, the Monkey Prince turns like in a weird way, and the batarang ends up slicing the Monkey Prince's head clean off. And literally, that, like, Batman's like, no, that's not what I intended to do. And Damian's like, what did you do, Dad? You know, and like, and that's kind of where the issue leaves off at. I mean, you talk about a cliffhanger, something I did not see coming, and then especially because, as big as a Batman fan as I am, I know that, like, something had to have happened or whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, it's really the setup of the character and everything, him turning into the Monkey Prince, and then, you know, kind of him meeting one of his, that it's going to be a bigger part of the story is Batman. We do know that Batman is going to be pretty entrenched into the story. I knew this going in. I didn't know how they were going to do it, but it's kind of cool how they're doing it so far. But I'll show you some of the art off, and then I will let y'all go on y'all's way. And we got, this is the very first night. If I can get my camera to focus. Come on, there we go. Okay, so this is the first night when Batman's like kind of breaking in, and there we go, the cover. I went the wrong way. This is Marcus at school, him dealing with, you know, seeing like bats and the curtains, him. This is the bully moment with Riz. That's the Riz up here will be that guy. This is the Penguin working with his parents and whatever that demon is in the vase. They haven't really gone into that yet. This is Mr. Zoo, and you can see the cloud of puff that comes from him. And the soda can it comes from, we don't know. I don't know how those are tied. Just some different moments from the book. The art was actually really good, and I really enjoyed it. I think that was the monkey tail scene right here. We got the jumping through the veil. This is the thing that's telling him to jump through the veil, and him jumping into the pool. Him making it to the other, and, you know, and this is the other land. I like when he went to the other land. It was completely drawn in a very older style. I thought it was pretty dope. There he is coming back through the pool as the Monkey Prince. The confrontation with Batman and the bully and Marcus. And that final scene where Batman accidentally decapitates the boy. Yeah, but that is the first issue. I'm excitedly looking forward to the next issue. But again, I got more reviews coming. Not as many as I was doing before, but I do have some reviews. I am taking you know, requests, but again, I'm only doing so many just so I can keep on top of things for now. Please like, comment, subscribe, you know, all that good stuff, and I will see y'all soon. You have a great day. Bye!